You know what's destroying your life right now? It's not your boss. It's not the economy. It's not even that person who hurt you. It's your own mind, your inability to remain calm when everything around you is falling apart. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Most people are walking around like ticking time bombs. One bad comment, one unexpected bill, one traffic jam, and they explode. And that reaction is costing you relationships, opportunities, and years off your life. Today, I want to talk to you about something that changed everything for me. How to train your mind to stay absolutely calm in any situation. Years ago, I found myself in a meeting that went completely sideways. A client started yelling at me in front of everyone. My heart was pounding. My face went red. And you know what I did? I yelled right back, won the argument, lost the client, and spent the next 3 months regretting it. That moment taught me something painful. Being right means nothing if you lose control. I realised I'd spent my whole life reacting instead of responding. There's a huge difference between those two things. Reacting is automatic. It's emotional. It's your brain on autopilot doing whatever feels good in the moment. Responding is intentional. It's choosing your words. It's staying calm when every part of you wants to scream. The people who master this difference, they're the ones who build empires. They're the ones with marriages that last. They're the ones who sleep peacefully at night. And the good news is, this isn't some gift you're born with. It's a skill. Anyone can learn it. I had to learn it the hard way. Let me explain exactly how you can train your mind to stay calm no matter what life throws at you. Let me paint a picture for you. You're driving to work. Someone cuts you off, and suddenly your whole morning is ruined. Your heart races, your jaw clenches, you're gripping that steering wheel like you're trying to strangle it. And for the next hour, maybe two, you're replaying that moment in your head. You're thinking about what you should have done, what you could have said. Meanwhile, the person who cut you off, they've completely forgotten you exist. They're probably sipping their coffee, listening to music, having a great day. And you? You're letting a stranger, who you'll never see again, control your entire emotional state. Sound familiar? Here's the thing. This isn't just about road rage. This is about everything. It's about that email from your coworker that felt passive-aggressive. It's about that comment your mother-in-law made at dinner. It's about that friend who didn't text you back for 3 days. We walk around giving away our peace to anyone who wants to take it. And I've spent decades studying human behaviour, watching people, observing how they communicate, how they react, how they destroy themselves with their own responses. And you know what I've noticed? The most successful people I've ever met aren't the smartest. They're not the most talented. They're the ones who've learned to control their inner world when the outer world goes crazy. Some of you probably think you're pretty calm people. You say, I don't lose my temper that often. But let me ask you something. When was the last time you couldn't sleep because you were worried about something? When was the last time you snapped at someone you love over something small? When was the last time your mood was completely dependent on what someone else said or did? That's not calm. That's just suppressed chaos waiting to explode. I know how this feels because I lived it. For years, I thought being passionate meant being reactive. I thought caring deeply meant feeling everything intensely. If something upset me, I wore it on my face. My body language screamed whatever I was feeling inside. And people could read me like a book, a very angry, stressed out book. The cost? Relationships I damaged because I spoke before thinking. Opportunities I missed because I came across as too intense. Nights I spent staring at the ceiling, replaying conversations, wishing I'd stayed calm. Here's something most people don't realise. Your inability to stay calm isn't just making you miserable. It's making everyone around you miserable too. Your stress is contagious. When you walk into a room carrying tension, other people feel it. They might not know why, but they sense something's off. Your body language changes. Your facial expressions shift. The micro-signals you send out tell everyone around you that something is wrong. And what happens? They become guarded. They become anxious. They start reacting to your reaction. It's a chain reaction of chaos. And it all started because you couldn't control what was happening inside your own head. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't feel emotions. That would be ridiculous. Emotions are part of being human. But there's a massive difference between feeling an emotion and being controlled by it, between experiencing anger and becoming angry, between noticing stress and drowning in it. The problem isn't that you feel things. The problem is that your feelings are running the show, and they're terrible managers. Here's where everything changes. Most people think calmness is about controlling your emotions, pushing them down, pretending they don't exist, putting on a brave face while you're screaming inside. That's not calmness. That's a ticking time bomb. Real calmness comes from understanding something fundamental about how your brain works. And once you get this, everything shifts. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real threat and an imagined one. Let me say that again. Your brain cannot tell the difference between something actually dangerous and something you're just thinking about. When you remember that embarrassing thing you said 5 years ago, your body reacts like it's happening right now. When you imagine a worst-case scenario about tomorrow's meeting, your stress hormones spike like you're already in trouble. When you replay that argument with your spouse, your heart rate increases as if you're fighting again. Your mind creates the experience, and your body believes it's real. This is why you can be sitting in a perfectly safe room, comfortable temperature, no threats anywhere, and still feel absolutely terrible. Because your mind is somewhere else. It's in the past, reliving pain. Or it's in the future, creating problems that don't exist yet. Here's the aha moment that changed my life. You are not your thoughts. You are the one watching your thoughts. Think about that. When a negative thought pops into your head, there's a part of you that notices it. That's the real you. The thought is just mental noise. It's just your brain doing what brains do. Generating ideas, memories, predictions, worries. It never stops. But you don't have to believe everything your brain tells you. I used to think every thought that entered my head was important. That if I was worried about something, I should definitely be worried. That if I felt anxious, there must be a real reason. But that's like believing every advertisement you see on television. Your brain is constantly selling you stories. Most of them aren't true. Let me give you an example. Have you ever been absolutely convinced something terrible was going to happen? You lost sleep over it. You stressed about it for days. You could feel it in your body. And then nothing happened. Or something happened, but it was nowhere near as bad as you imagined. How many times has your brain lied to you like that? Probably hundreds, maybe thousands. So why do we keep believing it? Here's the shift. Instead of trying to control your emotions, which is exhausting and usually fails, you start creating space between you and your reactions. You become an observer of your own mind instead of a victim of it. Someone insults you. Old you would react instantly. New you notices the anger rising, takes a breath, and chooses what to do next. That space between stimulus and response, that's where your power lives. That's where calm people operate. And here's the beautiful thing. That space can be trained. It can be expanded. You can get better at it. I've watched thousands of people in high-pressure negotiations, difficult conversations, and stressful situations. The ones who win aren't the ones who never feel stress. They're the ones who created enough internal space to choose their response instead of just reacting. Now, some of you might be thinking, that sounds great, but I'm just an emotional person. That's who I am. I hear this all the time, and respectfully, it's an excuse. Being emotional isn't a personality type, it's a habit. And habits can be changed. I've seen the most reactive, hot-headed people transform into calm, centered individuals. Not because they stop feeling things, but because they train themselves to respond differently. Your current reactions aren't who you are. They're just what you've practiced most. All right, let's get practical. Because understanding this stuff is one thing. Actually doing it is another. Here's how you start training your mind to stay calm in any situation. First, you need to master the pause. This is the foundation of everything. When something triggers you, when you feel that surge of emotion rising, you pause. Just 2 seconds. That's all it takes. 2 seconds doesn't sound like much. But in those 2 seconds, you interrupt the automatic reaction. You create a tiny gap where choice can exist. Here's a simple technique. When you feel triggered, breathe in slowly and say to yourself, I notice I'm feeling angry, or I notice I'm feeling anxious. That act of noticing changes everything. It puts you in observer mode instead of reaction mode. Your body language shifts when you do this. Your shoulders drop slightly, your face relaxes. And other people notice, even if they don't know why. They feel safer around you, more open, less defensive. For instance, I was once in a meeting where someone publicly criticized my work. Harsh criticism. In front of everyone. Old me would have gotten defensive, would have argued, would have made it worse. Instead, I paused, took a breath, and said, that's interesting feedback. Tell me more about what you mean. The whole energy in the room changed. The person who criticized me actually softened. We ended up having a productive conversation. And I walked out of there with my dignity intact and a better relationship than before. Second, stop consuming so much mental junk food. You know how eating garbage makes your body feel terrible? The same thing happens with your mind. What you watch, what you read, what you listen to, what conversations you engage in, it all affects your mental state. If you're constantly watching news that makes you anxious, scrolling through social media that makes you compare yourself to others, or surrounding yourself with people who complain all the time, you're poisoning your own calm. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about being intentional with what you let into your head. I started being very selective about my mental diet years ago. Less news, less negative people, more books, more conversations that lift me up. And the difference was dramatic. My baseline level of calm increased without me even trying. Third, practice being uncomfortable on purpose. This sounds counterintuitive, but hear me out. Most of us spend our lives avoiding discomfort. We avoid difficult conversations. We avoid physical challenges. We avoid anything that makes us feel uneasy. The problem? When discomfort finds us anyway, and it always does, we don't know how to handle it. We panic. We react. We fall apart. But when you deliberately practice being uncomfortable, you build tolerance, cold showers, hard workouts, having that conversation you've been avoiding, sitting in silence with your own thoughts. These small practices train your nervous system to handle stress better. They teach your brain that discomfort isn't an emergency, that you can feel uncomfortable and still be okay. Fourth, watch your body to control your mind. Here's something most people get backwards. They think the mind controls the body, but it works both ways. Your body also controls your mind. When you're stressed, notice what your body is doing. Your shoulders are probably tense. Your breathing is shallow. Your jaw might be clenched. Your posture is probably closed off. Now here's the trick. If you deliberately change your body, your mind follows. Drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Take a deep breath into your stomach. Stand or sit up straight. Relax your hands. Within seconds, you'll feel calmer. Your brain interprets these physical signals as safety cues. It starts to calm down because your body is telling it there's no threat. I use this technique constantly, before important meetings, before difficult conversations, anytime I notice tension building. It's instant and it works. Fifth, prepare for triggers before they happen. You know what sets you off. We all do. Certain topics, certain people, certain situations. Instead of just hoping you'll handle it better next time, prepare in advance. Visualize the situation. Imagine yourself staying calm. Practice what you'll say. Decide ahead of time how you want to respond. This isn't about being fake. It's about being intentional. When you've already decided how you're going to respond to something, it's much easier to stay calm when it actually happens. What should you avoid? Don't try to never feel negative emotions. That's impossible and unhealthy. The goal isn't to become a robot. It's to create choice in how you respond. Don't beat yourself up when you lose your cool. It happens. Even to people who've practiced this for years. The difference is, calm people recover faster. They don't spiral into shame about their reaction. They just notice it, learn from it, and move on. Don't expect overnight transformation. This is a skill. Like any skill, it takes time and repetition. But every small improvement compounds over time. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. This stuff is simple, but it's not easy. There will be days when you lose it, when someone presses just the right button and all your training goes out the window. When you react instead of responding and saying things you regret. That doesn't mean you failed. That means you're human. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. It's about getting a little better over time. Recovering a little faster when you slip. Creating a little more space between trigger and reaction. I still lose my temper sometimes. After all these years. After all this practice. I still have moments where I react before I think. The difference is it happens less often. And when it does happen, I recognize it faster. I apologize quicker. I don't let it spiral. Here's a story that stuck with me. I once met a man who'd been meditating for over 40 years. Incredibly calm presence. The kind of person who walks into a room and everyone just feels more peaceful. I asked him, after all this practice, do you still get angry? He laughed and said, of course, I just get angry for shorter periods of time. That's the realistic goal. Not to ever feel negative emotions, but do not let them hijack your life. To feel them, acknowledge them, and let them pass without destruction. Some of you are dealing with real hardship right now. Real problems, real pain. And I'm not going to stand here and tell you that staying calm will fix everything. It won't. But I will tell you this, whatever you're facing, you'll face it better with a calm mind. You'll make better decisions. You'll see solutions you'd miss if you were panicking. You'll preserve the relationships that matter. Calmness doesn't make problems disappear. It makes you capable of handling them. And here's what most people don't realize until it's too late. The things that destroy us usually aren't the big external problems. They're our reactions to those problems. Our panic, our poor decisions are made in emotional states. Our words are spoken in anger that can never be taken back. Protect your calm and you protect your life. So where does this leave us? Let me bring it all together. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. But right now, for most of you, it's working against you instead of for you. It's creating stress about things that haven't happened. It's replaying pain from the past. It's reacting to every small trigger like it's a life-threatening emergency, and it's costing you everything. Your health suffers when you live in constant stress. Your relationships suffer when you can't control your reactions. Your opportunities disappear when you're known as the person who loses their cool. But here's the good news. You can change this, starting today, not by becoming someone you're not, but by training yourself to respond differently, by creating space between what happens to you and how you react, by taking back control of your own mind. Imagine what your life looks like a year from now if you master this. That difficult co-worker, they don't bother you anymore. That traffic jam, just an opportunity to listen to something interesting. That unexpected problem, a challenge you handle with clarity instead of panic. Imagine being the calm presence in every room you enter. The person others look to when things get crazy. The one who keeps their head when everyone else is losing theirs. That's not a fantasy. That's a skill. And skills can be learned. But here's the challenge. Knowing this isn't enough. You have to practice it every day. In small moments, when you're stuck in line and getting impatient, when someone disagrees with you, when things don't go according to plan. Those are your training grounds. Don't wait for the big crisis to try staying calm. Practice in the small moments and you'll be ready for the big ones. The world is going to keep throwing chaos at you. That's not going to change. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. Life will surprise you in ways you never expected. The only question is, who will you be when it happens? Will you be the person who reacts to everything, who gives away their peace to anyone who wants to take it? Who lets their emotions run the show? Or will you be the person who stays grounded? Who responds instead of reacts? Who keeps their calm when everything around them is falling apart? That choice is yours, and you make it every single day in 100 small moments. Start today. Start now. Train your mind to stay calm and watch how your entire life transforms.